Combine gets underway today. Jason Lloyd is at the Combine. He's going to join us Wednesday, but our next topic involves one of the quarterbacks at the Combine. We'll get to that after a quick reminder that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth-quarter comeback, you can stay in on the action, and if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS, for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. All right, guys, the Combine officially kicks off today. No one does drills until later in the week. Jason Lloyd, as I mentioned, is there. He'll join us Wednesday before he speaks with Kevin Stefanski. But this came out over the weekend. Actually, let's start with this. Mary Kay mentioned this morning that the Browns, like both Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, would feel pretty comfortable drafting either at number 2. But there's something about Shedeur Sanders that came out that I wanted to at least address with you guys real quick. And let's figure out whether or not this is a big deal or no big deal. So Ian Rappaport tweeted out that Colorado quarterback and potential top pick Shedeur Sanders plans to focus on his interviews with teams at the NFL Scouting Combine, helping them continue to learn him as a person. He will allow his 4 years of film to speak loudly and throw darts at his pro day with the 4 draftable quarterbacks. So that came out on Saturday. This morning, Rappaport tweeted, it's uncertain whether or not Cam Ward will throw at the Combine, but Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, and Riley Leonard will throw. But back to Shedeur Sanders for a second. Someone quote tweeted this tweet. His name's Hayden Winks. He is a NFL draft expert at Underdog Fantasy. He tweeted that I think there's an obvious reason he, being Shedeur Sanders, is not throwing live next to his peers. I don't know who Hayden Winks is, but we've had Dane Brugler on the show.
So how do we know he's an expert?
Self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed, but Dane Brugler
I've never heard of
responded.
him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. This tweet means nothing to me. But then Dane Brugler responded, and we like Dane Brugler.
Yeah,
been on the
Dane's
show,
great.
well respected. He responded to a couple of tweets, starting with this one. He responded simply, facts.
Wow.
Someone asked him to
I'm
explain.
surprised he agrees with that.
Yeah.
Someone asked Dane to explain, and he responded, C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson both threw an Indy 2 years ago. It's not as rare as you may seem. It's disappointing he's not going to throw because he's not a locked top 5 pick, but also not surprising. Someone then asked Dane, why aren't you surprised then? He said, I've said it all season. His, being Shedeur Sanders, physical traits are underwhelming. The ball doesn't explode off his hand. No. And then he followed that up lastly because then people started saying, you just hate Shedeur Sanders. He said, it's bizarre that any criticism of Shedeur is considered hate. I've talked at length about the positives of his game, but there are plenty of concerns too. So Shedeur not throwing, Cam TBD, some of the other guys will throw. It just took me a little back. At first, I didn't think anything of Shedeur not throwing. That's pretty common. But to see Dane, who I do respect in terms of his draft evaluation, kind of put that out there, it just raised a little bit of a red flag that something may be off. Should we look into this whatsoever? Or does Dane maybe have a point here that Shedeur's, I don't want to say taking the easy route out because that's not the right way to phrase it, but Shedeur may be hiding something, I guess, for lack of a better way to phrase it.
Man, this business. At this point in time, any person who is talking to Shedeur or understands what the game is, or his agent or his team, it does you no good for you to go out there if you're locked to be one of the first 2 quarterbacks to come off the board. Why would you throw?
Dane says he's not, though.
I mean, it's
his opinion.
Dane said he's not locked to be in the top 5.
Top 5.
I don't know that he said he's not locked to be top 2 quarterbacks. I don't know that he is.
So if say for instance Tennessee already says we already want Cam Ward, forget it. We don't care. We're taking Cam Ward. It does you no good. You can't get any higher than where you're at right now. But where you can go is lower. Yeah. If you come out there and you throw in the ball, you have some like you're asking yourself. This is just a test. When you're doing a combine, you're throwing the receivers you have no clue about. You've been talking to people all day. You've been doing interviews. You've been on a whiteboard in front of everybody. You know, there's guys coming in. There's agents. There's all kind of stuff. You don't got that much sleep. You're like, listen, I'll come in and interview. That's mentally taxing enough. I'll come in and interview with you, but I'm not going to throw until I get all of the things that look great for me. If you are worried about my arm strength or how it comes off my hands or whether or not I can hit certain routes, come on down to Boulder. I'm going to have all my receivers that I've been throwing to since the beginning of time. I'm going to have my plays scripted. My quarterback coach is going to be down here, and we're going to ace the test just like everybody aces the test at their pro days. What he's telling you is you're going to have to evaluate the tape. And that's what general managers get paid. We're not going to give you no incentive to jump up or incentive to drop back. You're going to have to evaluate what happened on that field during this game tape, and we'll see if you make the right choice. If it was me, no, I wouldn't throw.
So I was kind of ambivalent on this until I saw Dane. I respect Dane so much that he actually changed my mind on this, which I don't want to say he changed my mind. He just pushed me into one way of thinking because I was kind of ambivalent. I don't care if he throws or not. A lot of guys don't throw. But the way he framed it, I think, is very interesting. I had a GM tell me years ago, this was in the late 1990s, I had a GM tell me that when he's analyzing draft picks, he just pros and cons. And every single thing is either a pro or a con, and there's no gray. So arm strength, is it a pro? Is it a con? Size, is it a pro? Is it a con? Speed, processing, all of it. Everything had to be black or white. And I hearken back to that because I would ask, okay, his decision not to throw at pro day, pro or con? Con for the team. If it's a pro for the player, that's a red flag for the team. Here's why. All the points you brought up are absolutely true. Not his receivers, not much sleep, working on in uncomfortable surroundings. Good. I want to see how you perform. And guess what? Every other quarterback that's going to throw, same exact playing field. It's apples to apples. Everybody looks great at their pro day. Mm-hmm. Everybody, because you're throwing the routes you're most comfortable with. Now, the scouts and the general managers have input. I want to see 8 straight out throws. Mm-hmm. I want to see your deep balls. I want to see this, that, and the other. So I think basically, if you're confident in your skill set and you think, I can do everything they're going to ask me to do and do it well, it's a positive to me. It's a pro about the player that he says, hell yeah, I'm going to throw. And I'm going to run, and I'll run backwards if you ask me to run backwards, and I'm going to do everything you ask me to do because I want to prove to you that I am absolutely the guy. Nothing to hide. And so I've kind of gone from not caring to I do think it's a bit of a negative to the player if he says I'm not going to throw. And I know that a lot of others have done exactly what he's doing.
Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, what's his name, with the Patriots drafted last year?
Drake May.
Drake May all did not throw.
Probably more of the top prospects don't.
Yeah, Joe Burrow didn't throw. Matthew Stafford didn't throw. Andrew Luck didn't throw. Sam Darnold didn't throw.
By the way,
Kyler
there
Murray
weren't many
throw.
questions on any of those guys.
Well, I mean, Sam Darnold didn't throw. Kyler Murray.
Sam Darnold was, where did he go? What
Third.
pick? He was second or third?
It was the third
After
quarterback
Baker?
taken.
Yes, but
Drake May, there were questions about Drake May. Kyler Murray, there were questions about him. To me, this is a nothing burger.
You don't
care. If I had to make a list of everything that he did and say, here's a positive, here's a negative, and I had no choice, I had to put it in one of the column, okay, I'll put it in the negative column if I had to. But to me, it's a nothing burger. The combine, to me, is the most overrated part of this entire process. To me, the only thing that matters in the combine is the conversations with the players, getting to know the player, learning about them. What they do on the field in the combine, we all watch it on TV. We've seen guys move up the draft because of it, and most of the time when that happens, it turns out to be a bust and a mistake.
Is his arm strength a question at all for you? Because it is for me.
Yeah, sure, it is, but him throwing at the combine is not going to change. His arm strength is what it is. People have seen him play for a number of years.
Right. He has a good arm, not a great arm. He's not going to throw the ball through a wall or anything. He has good arm strength. He's not a guy that's going to be like, oh my gosh, I just saw Shedeur Sanders throw a right. That's not his game.
Right.
You know who did have that kind of arm? Anthony Richardson. Did the Colts regret drafting him when he moved up because of the combine?
Yeah.
I heard our Greg. We talked on Friday because Greg Cosell had said that he thinks Cam Ward is head and shoulders better than Shedeur. Okay. In fact, he didn't even have Shedeur as his second best quarterback. And I respect Greg Cosell's ability to break down tape better than anybody.
He's great.
And we talked about Cam Ward, and he said he thinks Cam Ward would have been with the better guys. At the very least, he would have been the fourth quarterback last year when everybody else was saying, oh, no, six. I heard his thoughts on Shedeur Sanders over the weekend. And what he said about Shedeur Sanders was he thinks he's actually going to be a starting quarterback in the league for a long time. But the reason he wouldn't take him high is because he doesn't see the upside in Shedeur Sanders. He looks at Shedeur Sanders as one of these quarterbacks that's going to be a mid-tier quarterback, good solid player. He's not going to win you. You're not going to necessarily win because of him, but you're not going to lose because of him. He'll be one of those quarterbacks that you're like, is he good enough to win with? I don't know. Right on the borderline. And it's just one man's opinion. That's what he said. That's not an insult. I mean, the guy said he's going to be a starting quarterback in the league for a while, but that Cam Ward's got way more upside than Shedeur.
I think upside sometimes gets thrown around as flash. Like it's like, okay, well, I'm guessing when you say somebody has more upside, you have a trait that really excites you more than anybody else. Usually if it's a quarterback, there's two things that people go on upside. One is if you throw the ball really, really hard, or if you are a guy that can run. And those two are the things, like nobody says, oh, the way he anticipates throws and understands defense creates this huge upside. That ain't sexy enough. You need to be running a 4.4, 4.5, or you can straight up spin it where people get mesmerized of how you throw the football. But I look at it and I look at quarterbacks like Joe Burrow. I look at quarterbacks before, even when I did a show on the Barbershop a couple weeks ago, and you can go back and watch how many people had crazy stuff to say about Josh Allen.
Oh yeah,
PFF said that Josh Allen, his upside. Now watch this. Josh Allen's upside, if you don't believe me, go back and take a look at it. They told me that Josh Allen's upside was a poor man's Baker Mayfield. I said, that's wild. How did that come? Josh Allen, poor man's Baker Mayfield. They also, Todd McShay said, Jalen Hurts specifically will not lead the Eagles or any other franchise to a Super Bowl. He's been to two of them, won one, and he's been an MVP. Yeah. So everybody has an opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. You just need to understand that I don't think people will debate. He's the second best quarterback, or somewhere between him and Cam Ward is the best two quarterbacks coming out of this draft. It's up to you to figure out, what happened to unlocking people? Can you unlock some of that?
Yeah. Coach him.
Can you coach them? Can you coach them out of that?
I think from the outside, you want the quarterback to either have an elite arm or elite athletic ability, as you say, and he doesn't have that. Now, Joe Burrow doesn't have that either. Joe Burrow's the best quarterback in the NFL that doesn't have one of those two things. And right? Lamar's an elite athlete. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen, elite arm strength. And obviously Patrick Mahomes has got the elite arm strength.
Herbert has elite size. 6'6". And
so Burrow, he doesn't have elite, I think, processing and brain. And but a lot of people think Shedeur Sanders, in terms of reading the defense,
it's really
may be elite. So if he is, then maybe he's going to be better. His physical traits aren't elite level.
Yes, I agree with that.
But if the mental is, I'd rather take a guy with good physical traits who's mentally a 10 than a guy who's mentally you're concerned about and has elite physical traits.
Bernie Kosar. Bernie Kosar had below average measurables in all of it.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe is going to destroy the combine. If Jalen Milroe goes to the combine and he runs,
he's throwing at the combine.
If he does everything, he's going to come out here looking like the cream of the crop. However,
I think Jackson Dart's going to look good there
Jackson Dart will look very good. Yeah. Those guys, because where they're slotted, they unfortunately have to do that.
Yeah, sure.
It's just like telling people that want to get in the industry, man. I want to be in the game. You tell them you got to work nights and weekends. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this.
Move to Oklahoma.
Let me ask you this, then we can wrap it up. But if Cam Ward decides to throw, and he's still TBD,
I bet he doesn't.
I would guess he doesn't either.
No.
But if Cam Ward decides to throw, would that change how you look at this situation?
It doesn't help Shedeur, but it's not going to change
I
my
bet
mind.
he won't throw, though.
To me, it's in a vacuum. You're either going to do it or you're not.
Right.
I mean, if everybody else decides to throw and you're the only guy that doesn't, it doesn't help your cause at all. And again, the question is, could this hurt him or help him? Like, he's getting people that are telling him, don't do it. Why? Well, it could hurt you.
Yeah, right.
Now, if you're in a situation where you're like, man, my arm is so strong. And by the way, the difference in size between the NFL ball and the college ball, it's while not significant, it's a bigger football. And there have been questions about, and I don't know what his actual measurement is of his hand size, but that's something that's going to be made a huge deal about. How can he twirl the ball? How are you spinning it? And that might be an issue as well. So if you've already got question mark under arm strength, that's not a good thing to have a question mark under.
Think about it this way, and I just popped into my head. What if Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, and guys like Curtis Rourke or guys Will Howard, what if they go to the combine and they all throw terribly?
Doesn't help them.
What that does is, by process of elimination, he stayed home, didn't have to throw the football, and now he looks
look
like
at the variables you threw into that.
right.
You threw a lot of variables. Like if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike.
I mean, they can move up. Jackson Dart, I think, has an opportunity to move into the first round if he throws the ball well. But if those guys, it's just like blah, it's going to solidify him by just being not by process of elimination. I don't throw. Now you have to use the tape, and I was already second coming in. So
I just like the confidence. To me, the quarterback position is played with moxie and confidence.
Yeah.
I want a guy that's like, hell yeah, I'm throwing. I'm throwing, and when I'm done throwing, you're going to say, wow, he threw the ball great. I want that guy, not the guy who's playing it safe and saying, yeah, no, I got too much to lose to throw the football. I'm not going to do it. I want an aggressive, confident mentality because that's what the position demands.
I just can't understand at this point why teams would be factoring in the quarterback how they throw at the combine. Like, you got all the tape on him in games.
You know what I always think about on the combine? Do you remember when Alex Smith, and this was his pro day, we covered it live on ESPN, and there were guys at the combine that said, longtime scouts, like 25 years in the business, said, this is by far the best exhibition of football throwing we've ever seen. That somebody was tracking it, and he said he threw 68 footballs, and 67 of them were exactly on point. And I remember this about it. They actually said they gave him an ovation. The scouts, the NFL scouts,
that's so terrible,
gave the man an ovation at the end of it.
Yeah.
Which, that's a tough crowd to impress.
Yeah.
When you leave there, you're like, I don't know if they liked it or not. These guys all put their cards on the table. We loved it.
Yeah.
He had one thing.
So,
he had heart.
And he was just a guy.
He did have heart. He ended up being just a guy in the NFL.
Yeah.
Nobody ever... Based on what they were saying, I'm like,
yeah,
my God, this is the second coming of Joe Montana.
Yeah.
This is it. Here he is, the Holy Grail. He was okay.
Yeah.
He was okay.
And Aaron Rodgers went 22nd.
Yeah.
Slipped and fell. And
wow.
did you guys discuss last week his decision not to attend the draft? Because I don't want to... Shedeur.
I didn't even see that. No.
I didn't even see that.
Oh,
either,
okay. Yeah. Last week he said he's not going to attend the draft.
I got no problem with players.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I liked the fact that Joe Thomas didn't.
Yeah, sure.
He said, I'm going to either be in Dallas or Colorado around the people that propped me up and helped me get to that point.
Yeah,
now, to me, again, pro or con, that's a pro.
Yeah.
I don't need the $18,000 suit and the bad tailoring of the suit and the crazy color.
And the hug from the commissioner.
And the diamond buttons and the hug from the fake hug from the commissioner.
Yeah.
I don't need all that. That's all dog and pony stuff.
And Coach Prime already said, shout out to my man C.D. Lamb, there will be no people, there will be no honeys of any sort, no girlfriends, no hanger-ons talking about give me your phone. No. We're not going to do that.
He runs a tight ship. Deion really runs a tight ship.
It will not be any honeys in mix like, yo, we're just friends. I think he's going to make him break up with all girls probably 2 months before the draft. It's just
probably already happened.
It's already done.
All right, we're going to get back to the Cavs, but first,